Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Shark deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely consistent deck that can summon out all sorts of XZ monsters to control the board and go in for game. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go and get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Surfacing Big Jaws. Surfacing Big Jaws is definitely a 3 out in the build because this card is the Stratos of the deck and also an extender, with the ability that if this card is used for an XZ summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 3, 4, or 5. And also, during the main phase, if a spell card was activated this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if it's normal or special summon, you can actually add a fish shark monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to basically search out any of our shark monsters from our deck to your hand when we special summon this card out. We then play 3 copies of Buzzsaw Shark. Buzzsaw Shark is definitely a 3 out in the build, one of the most powerful summons in the entire deck. You can actually target a water monster you control, which can be itself, to special summon from your deck in defense position a fish monster with the same level as that monster, but with a different name. And if you do, it cannot activate its effects this turn, but it helps you get 2 monsters on your side of the field to help you go in for an XZ play. And also this card has the ability, if this card is used for an XZ summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 3, 4, or 5. We then play 3 copies of Abyss Shark. Abyss Shark is an amazing extender in the build and just such a powerful card to play in this deck, as this card has the ability, if this card is used for XZ summon of a number monster, it can be treated as level 3, 4, or 5, and if all monsters you control are water, you can actually special summon this card from your hand if you get to add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect. Hope you just get an additional monster to your hand and use this card as an amazing extender in this build. We then play 2 copies of Hydrojet Shark. Hydrojet Shark is really good as a 2-of in the build, and I absolutely love this card in this deck, as it has so many good targets to be able to send to the graveyard. As if a water XZ monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a great effect. And also during your main phase, you can actually send a fish shark monster or an XZ spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard, which is an awesome ability because you have some really good targets in this deck to be able to send to the graveyard off of Hydrojet. You can also banish this card in the graveyard to add an Aqua Jet card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is great to help you grab your copy of your Aqua Jet Surfacing from your deck to your hand, basically being a searchable monster reborn off this card's effect. We play a single copy of Drake Shark. Drake Shark is amazing to help us go in for our Shark Drake XZ monsters, because this card can actually be treated as 2 materials for an XZ summon of a Shark Drake monster. And also, if this card is added from your deck to your hand, except by drawing it, you can actually instantly special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field, which is a great effect just to get this card out on your side of the field and use it as an awesome extender in this deck. We then play a single copy of Right Hand Shark. Right Hand Shark is really good in the deck as a 1-of to basically just use this card with your copy of Crooked Cook, because this card has the effect that a monster using this card as a material actually gains the following effect, that it cannot be destroyed by battle. So if you use it with your copy of Crooked Cook, you can actually have a really cool ability to basically make it so it cannot be destroyed by battle, and you have the effect of your copy of Crooked Cook that basically makes it so it's completely unaffected by any card effect as well, making it practically invincible for your opponent to deal with, making it super easy to control the board. We then play a single copy of Crystal Shark. Crystal Shark is very interesting, especially with you having copies of Hydrojet Shark in the deck, because this card, if it's in your hand or your graveyard, you can actually target a water monster on the field, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. If you do half that monster's attack points, helping you get an additional monster out on your side of the field. And also, if this card is used for an XZ summon of a number monster, it can be treated as level 3, 4, 5, helping you go in for more XZ plays, especially with cards like Hydrojet, being able to send it to the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Perilia. Perilia is great in the deck as a 3-of, just to help us draw cards, and it's an amazing hand trap in this deck because it is a water level 4, which helps out a lot in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's great in the build as a 3-of to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is definitely a 1-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We made a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is basically the same thing as your copy of Called by the Grave, helping you stop cards like Ash and Imperm, which is just absolutely amazing. But this card can actually stop more cards because your copy of Called by the Grave just banishes a monster in the graveyard, where you can actually use your copy of Crossout Designator to stop cards like Imperm, which is really, really good. We then made a single copy of Instant Fusion and a single copy of Ready Fusion. These cards are amazing in the build at 1 each to help us summon another copy of Rare Fish from the extract, just giving us an additional level 4 that we can summon to our side of the field, just in case we need to help us keep going for our plays. We made a single copy of Aqua Jet Surface. Aqua Jet Surface is really interesting in this deck as a 1-of because it is searchable off your copy of Hydrojet, and this card has the ability you get to special summon a level 4 lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your hand to your graveyard, but you cannot special summon the extract except XZ monster while you control that face-up monster, which is not that big of a deal because we can easily get it off our side of the field, but just basically going for XZ play. But this card is great in the deck as a 1-of because it is basically a searchable monster reborn. We then made a single copy of Unveiling Mail. Unveiling Mail is really good as a 1-of in the deck because this card is an awesome equip spell that actually counts as an Armor XZ card always. And this card has the ability an XZ monster equipped with this card gains the effect that it cannot be destroyed by battle, and once per turn if this card battled this turn, quick effect, you can actually return one card equipped to this card back to the hand, and immediately this effect resolves, you get to XZ summon a Water XZ monster, which is a pretty cool effect. And also, once per turn, during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard, because it was simped there this turn, you can actually equip it to one of your XZ monsters you control, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to use. We then played 2 copies of 7th Ascension. 7th Ascension is great as a 2-of in the build to basically just use this card to search out from our deck to our hand our copy of 7th Tachyon. 7th Tachyon is definitely a 3-of in the build, as all you basically have to do is reveal one of your extract monsters, which is going to be your copy of number 101 or 103, to be able to add basically any of your shark monsters you want from your deck to your hand, which is actually insane to be able to do. You can only add the level 4s, but it's still really good to be able to grab the exact card you need. But this card is actually insane in the deck and definitely a 3-of because it's pretty much a rota for the build that we're essentially playing at 5 in this deck because we have the 3 copies of the 7th Tachyon and 2 copies of Ascension, basically being like 5 copies of 7th Tachyon. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Virtue Stream. Virtue Stream is basically like Icarus Attack, letting you target a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster that you control and 2 cards your opponent control and destroy them, which is a great effect to help you pop cards on the field. Plus, this card is searchable off Virtue Dragon. We then play a single copy of XZ Revive Splash. XZ Revive Splash is great as a 1-of in the build because this card just helps out a lot in the deck, and you can actually send this card to the graveyard off your copy of Hydrojet Shark, because this card is an awesome effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then target a Water XZ monster you control and special summon from your extract one Water XZ monster that is 1 rank higher than that monster that you control by using it as a material, and it is treated as an XZ summon, which is a great effect to basically help you rank up your monster, and it's just a great card in the deck overall. We then play a single copy of Full Armored XZ. Full Armored XZ is great to be able to play in the deck with your copy of Dark Knight Lantern. It's just a great card in the deck to be able to play alongside your Armored XZ cards to help you rank up your monsters. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is great as a 3-of in the build because this card basically just stops your opponent's monster effects and also locks down entire columns of spells and traps. We then play 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is extremely interesting in this deck as a 3-of because this card basically just stops your opponent's special summons, and it's an awesome 3-of in the build. It does lock you out of using light, earth, and wind monsters for the rest of the duel if you activate this card from your hand as a hand trap, but that's not that big of a deal in this deck because we don't play any of those types, we just play water. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with number 4. Number 4 is basically our big boss monster now in this deck besides our copy of our Shark Drake monsters, because unfortunately Bahamut Shark did get banned on the last list, but this card is still amazing in the build, and we have some awesome XZ monsters in this extract that can kind of make up for it to help us go in for game and control the board, especially with some of the cards that I've included. But this card is awesome in the deck as it makes all face-up monsters on the field become water, which can really mess up your opponent's plays if they need a particular attribute on the field, and it's almost like a miniature copy of Dragoon because it has the effect that once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, you can destroy one water monster your opponent controls, and if you do, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack it had on the field, which is a great effect to be able to use just how you pop a monster and do burn damage to your opponent, especially making everything on the field water. We then play 2 copies of the Stealth Spawn. Stealth Spawn is great to be able to play alongside your copy of number 4. It's just great to be able to play it in the deck, to be able to roll into these cards just in case you need to with the effect of number 4. We then play a single copy of C32. This card is an awesome OTK piece, especially when you use your copy of Abyss Shark, so you can do double damage. And this card is awesome because you can also XZ summon this card by discarding a spell card and using a rank 4 Shark Drake monster as XZ material that you control, which is awesome, and then you transfer all the materials to it. And once per turn, quick effect, you can detach your material from this card and then target an effect monster that your opponent controls and negate its effects, and if you do, its tag and events become 0, making it super easy to go in for game. And this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Also, if it attacks a defensive monster, it does piercing damage, which is crazy powerful just to help you go in for game. And like a single copy of number 32. Number 32 is awesome in the deck as a 1/0 to be able to make this card for 2 materials using your copy of Drake Shark plus any other monster to be able to make this card, and then step into your copy of C32, which is extremely easy to do in the deck to be able to OTK. We then play a single copy of 103. 103 is great in the deck to be able to work your copy of your 7th Ascension and your copy of 7th Tachyon to basically just reveal this card with your copy of 7th Tachyon, so you can basically search out a level 4 water monster, which is awesome. And you can also use this card to be able to pop cards on the field if you want to make it on your side of the field and help you draw cards. And then a single copy of number 101. I really love playing this card in the deck, not just because I have a ghost rare, but it helps you basically just gobble up your opponent's monsters and attach them as cards. This card comes in very handy in a lot of different matchups, because a lot of players do not expect this card anymore, and it's just really insane to be able to drop this card and just basically gobble up one of your opponent's monsters and attach to this card that was special summoned, and it's just a really good card overall. And then a single copy of Dark Knight Lancer. Dark Knight Lancer is great in the deck as a 1/0, and just such a powerful card to be able to make with our Armored XZ package. And then a single copy of XZ Armor Fortress. Fortress is great in the deck. It cannot be used as an XZ material if it has XZ materials under it, but it's very easy to just detach materials from under this card and then grab from your deck to your hand the exact card that you want that's an Armored XZ card. And it's just a really good card overall to help you step into your copy of Dark Knight Lancer. We made a single copy of Full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer. Utopic Ray Lancer is great in the deck as a 1/0. As this card has the ability once per turn, you can also XZ summon this card by discarding a Speller Trap and using a rank 4 or lower XZ monster you control as a material, and you transfer all those materials to this card, and monsters that your opponent control lose 500 attack points, and at the start of the battle phase, you can negate the effects of all face-up attacks to monsters your opponent currently controls. And when this card attacks and destroys an opponent's monster at battle, you can detach a material, and this card can attack a second time, which is a great ability just to help you go in for game. But this card is very good in the deck as a 1/0. Then play a single copy of XZ Armor Torpedo. Torpedo is very good in the deck as a 1/0 because you can actually detach 2 materials on this card and then draw a card, and then use this card as a material to step into your copy of XZ Armor Fortress. If you only have, say, 1 more Armored XZ card in the deck, and you know you only have 1 left, you can make this card first, and then you just detach 2 materials from it, and then step into your copy of XZ Armor Fortress, and then detach material and search out your last Armored XZ card from your deck to your hand, giving you a draw and a search all of these 2 cards, which is so cool. Then on the follow-up, you can step into your copy of Dark Knight Lancer. You play a single copy of Virtue Dragon. Virtue Dragon is really good because you can actually search out an awesome trap card from your deck, Virtue Stream, to help you basically pop cards on the field when this card is special summon, which is a great effect. I made a single copy of Crooked Cook. Crooked Cook is really good as a 1-0 in the deck, especially with your different shark monsters in this build. You can easily use this card in the deck to basically just make it completely invincible in this build, and it's so powerful to be able to use in this particular build to basically just stop your opponent in their tracks where they're basically not going to be able to respond to you, as this card will not be able to be destroyed by battle, and it's just very difficult for your opponent to deal with when you put it on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Rare Fish. Rare Fish is our one and only instant and ready fusion target, so we're only playing them at one each in the deck. I feel like one copy is really all you need, because if you do draw them both, you can always discard one of them into the graveyard to make your copy of C32, which is great to be able to do. But this card is awesome in the deck as a 1-of, just basically an additional extender in the build. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play, even without Bahamut Shark, unfortunately. And it's still an extremely powerful deck, because we can always play number 4, which is a really powerful card to be able to play. And then C32 to help us just swing in for game for massive amounts of damage. And it's just really, really insane. So that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. So later, guys.